Hello. Welcome to your Sunday. Welcome to the Jaden Show. I'm Jaden Cornelious and I have a spectacular show for you today. We are going in a minute to meet the wonderful Sanzi all the way in Pennsylvania, US of A. But firstly, I think we should go and listen to her. This is called Laced.
But you make me sick. I'm begging on my knees after just one sip. I'm dizzy and I'm weak from your arsenic. Your love is a drug that I didn't wanna hit. I am above the ceiling with no feeling in my limbs. Your poison, your caustic, you're toxic. Your poison, your caustic, you're toxic. I wanna drink your body, but your love is laced. You know I hate the feeling, but I crave the taste. Your cinnamon and cyanide coursing through my veins. You go down easy, but your love is laced. Love is laced. Cinnamon and cyanide coursing through my veins. You go down easy, but your love is so hard to resist, but I can see right through all of the ways that you claim that you knew. Yeah, I could get wasted on the ways that you move. It's a shame that your taste is too good to be true. So I'll savor the flavor of the memories of me and you. Your poison, your caustic, you're toxic. Your poison, your caustic, you're toxic. I wanna drink your body, but your love is laced. You know I hate the feeling, but I crave the taste. Your cinnamon and cyanide coursing through my veins. You go down easy, but your love is laced. Love is laced. Cinnamon and cyanide coursing through my veins. You go down easy, but your love is
How super cool was that? You're never going to meet her, but I'm telling you now, you're going to have to wait for a couple more minutes while we go to a Jaden Show commercial break. Hey guys, I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know about the Jaden Show commercial break starting now. This is amazing news because now every single week you have a couple of minutes to be able to advertise something you want to advertise. So if you have a business, if you have an event coming up, if you have a new album, art gallery, or anything you want to particularly advertise on a show, this is your chance to do it. March and April 2024, the advertisements are free. So please let me know. Get in touch to me on Jaden Cornelious at AOL.com. It will be wonderful to hear from you. If you are a charity or a charitable organization or a non-profit and you are advertising something with regards to that, then always your advertising is free. So let me know. You will need to send me between a 1 and 2 minute video around that time, if possible, something that you want to advertise, and I will fit it into this spot. Get on. I'll see you soon. Take care, buddy. Okay, are you ready? Are you sitting comfortably? Let's go and meet this week's incredibly special guest, the amazing Sanzi. Sanzi, welcome, lovely lady, to the Jaden Show. How are you?
I am doing lovely now that I'm here.
Lovely to see you. How's it going in sunny Pennsylvania? Is it sunny Pennsylvania?
Lately it has been pretty sunny. Usually we have the same kind of weather as England. Very cloudy.
Really?
Yeah. But this year, really sunny. I'm enjoying it.
Sweet. You get like the whole autumn thing with all the leaves changing colour.
Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Everything's changing right now. And
really?
Yeah.
Hey, book me in for next autumn. We're going to collaborate on something because I want to come and see you and the trees.
Yes. Go get a cabin somewhere. Do a songwriting.
Sounds like a plan. So let's go back because we've just watched Laced. Okay. Is there any story behind Laced?
Yeah. So I really wanted to make like a song almost inspired by like the Doom soundtrack.
Okay.
So something really industrial and really just like heavy, but then also just blending it with kind of like girly, angry pop. And yeah, that was kind of my hope with that song was to do that. So
bloody wonderful. Well, let's just take you back, way back to Mini Sanzi.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in. I don't know what your family life was like back in the day, but you're kind of in that youthful environment. What music are you dancing around the living room with a hairbrush to?
Oh, geez. It was so varied. I think as a real young kid, I think I was so into what my parents were into, which would have been like very 80s and 70s stuff. Like my mom definitely liked a lot of the like pop, like Britney and Christina Aguilera, and like I got into those, but I think I really initially gravitated towards like Electric Light Orchestra and
okay. Oh my God. Loving all your choices.
Yeah, like a lot of like, I was really into like Journey and Styx and like the hair metal bands for a while, like, Motley Crue, I don't know, just all of that kind of stuff that I guess like my dad liked. But then, yeah, I think I always loved pop, but as I grew older, I got kind of afraid to love pop. It suddenly seemed less cool, and I was just kind of into like prog rock kind of stuff. And like,
can I just say, it was never not cool.
Right, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I was just really just afraid to be myself,
A bit diverse, from Britney to Motley Crue, to be fair. So good musical foundations for your career, right?
Yes, for sure. And like, I think growing up past that, I think I got a lot more into like more electronic acts. I loved like Justice and Daft Punk.
Sweet.
And then like I had a whole like emo phase where we loved Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy and Paramore and all of those. So
you kind of snaked your way through every genre, really? No, just from like.
Honestly, I think like.
Do you still go back to like dancing around to Britney and then bunging on a Motley Crue single even now?
I think I don't listen to like the Motley Crue so much anymore. I'll throw it on, occasionally if it hits the mood right. If I want to drive fast or something.
Or if it's on the playlist kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But I think lately it's been like getting really into specific artists, and then I will just play them nonstop until I get sick of it, and then I'll yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That tends to be kind of my MO lately. So I think going back and listening to that kind of stuff happens more whenever I'm producing music for other people, because
Okay.
I'll ask for like reference songs, and then they'll send me a playlist, and a lot of times it'll have that kind of stuff, and so I'll be like, oh, I haven't heard like Genie in a Bottle in 10 years, like, but this is really good. Like Max Martin is the shit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think he did Genie in a Bottle, I think.
I think everything back in that day was either Red One or Max Martin, right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, a lot of that, because I was working with the Max Martin group out in Gothenburg in the 90s, and literally the 90s it was Brittany, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, you know, and stuff like that. It was just, for me, it's funny now, as an adult, I started singing like classical and opera, stuff like that, kind of.
Oh, that's impressive.
I love it, and I really, really, really love doing it. I think the reason why I love doing it because I get a better effect doing it, because people would automatically assume by looking at me that I'm probably going to sing something poppy or ballady.
Oh, right, yeah, so get that contrast.
Yeah, so when you bung out a Nessun Dorma, people are like, oh, man, he can actually sing him. So I still love it. And I love the emotion in classical music. But I think I never was into the 80s back in the day. Now I sing a lot of 80s stuff because now I love it and miss it.
Yeah, right. You never know what you're going to love.
But 90s, that for me was the baggy jeans, like the tank tops, the hipster cut. When I had more hair and less belly, now I've got more belly and less hair. You know, it was kind of like, I think the 90s was fucking excellent for music, fashion, fun. It was a really cool time to experience music, I think, back in the day.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Although the way I look at it, I'm like, it would have been cool to see these different eras. Like, it would have been cool to live around the Beatles. It would have been cool to live, you know, I lived during the 90s, but to be, you know, around in the 90s where I could have been going to shows, or to, you know, be around in the 80s and go see Prince or something. Like, all this stuff sounds cool, but then when I think about it, I'm like, we have access to so much plus all of that today.
Absolutely.
Like, maybe today really is the best time to live for music. I don't know, you know, like,
because we had the ability to, you know, like, if you didn't buy it on your, you know, vinyl or your cassette or your CD, then you probably wouldn't have it now, and it's not really being played on radios and shit, so you lost all of that. But now, like, I listen to my Spotify playlist. I've got different playlists for different movies, so my chill at home playlist, literally, I remember, so I've got all the songs that I was into when I was like recording on the scene, so I was into all that 90s stuff, but then all the 80s stuff that I kind of remember from being a kid. Then my mum was born in the 40s, so I got 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s from her. My nan was just after 1900s, so I've got like all the old wartime stuff, so I can have like Marilyn and the Beverly Sisters going to Dua Lipa on one playlist. It's just like amazing. I'm like, rah, man, this is diverse.
And you see the through lines too between those when you listen that way. Like, you know, I play a video game, Fallout, and like the soundtrack it's all from the 30s, 40s, 20s, like nothing pre 1960 for sure. And it's so interesting just seeing some of the through lines between the music and how music today has built on top of that. And also like going back and realizing not every song was a winner, and that's okay. Like, you know, I think we have a lot of times these perspectives that are like, music today is awful, and, you know, music was so much better back in the day. Look at all the great music we had, but it's like, well, we had a lot of bad music back then too.
No, absolutely. I just think the difference then was it was less conveyor belt.
Yes.
We had icons and idols and legends and stars back in the day. Now, which is great for some of us, and not so great is the fact, you know, like, now anyone can be a star, and that's wonderful. That's such amazing for everyone to have the opportunity to shine and to be creative and passionate about their art. That is wonderful. But then it's very difficult now for our listeners, our public, to really stick with us unless we're doing something remarkable. Because, I mean, I remember I'd already pre-ordered Michael Jackson's next album because I didn't care what it sounded like. If it was the biggest piece of doo-doo on the planet, because it was Michael Jackson's next album, I was waiting a year for that shit.
Yeah.
You know, whereas now, no, I don't think anyone is going to be waiting for Jaden Cornelius. A few people will get it, but no one will be waiting.
Yeah, I mean, you even look to the biggest stars on the globe, you know, like looking at Taylor Swift, like that's the only analog I can see is like, okay, yeah, somebody would probably pre-save Taylor Swift's album and think, I don't care what it sounds like, I'm a Taylor Swift fan, so I'm literally going to get it.
Yeah.
But even that segment of people feels so much more kind of siloed than the, you know, Michael Jacksons and the Princes of before, because those could literally capture the entire world.
And they would, like, yeah. And I think maybe it was just me, but I think when back in that day as well, like now they might be waiting for Taylor Swift's new album, but they're also going to be waiting for Ariana Grande's and Dua Lipa and, you know, all these others. Whereas personally, I was just waiting for either Whitney or Michael.
Yeah.
That was it. And nothing else, everything else, I mean, I could listen to it because it was on the radio or whatever, but I wasn't waiting for anything else. Like, I was saving all my pocket money for the minute that came out.
Yeah, and you have to be more selective with what you spent your money on. I mean, being kind of a millennial, I understand at least a little bit of that, of like, I had to go buy CDs. Like, I was the last generation that had to go decide what I wanted to actually spend my money on. And then, you know, LimeWire came around and it was maybe a different story. But
we didn't have any streaming services.
No.
There was no way. I mean, unless it was in the chart at the time, you'd get to hear it on the radio. But there was no, I mean, especially in the 90s. I mean, like, my biggest...
I remember...
No, carry on.
I was just going to say, I remember hearing, and I don't really listen to his music anymore, but like hearing Kanye West's Stronger for the first time, and I had never heard any Daft Punk before. So this is the first time I'm hearing these like vocoded, robot-like voices over this modern beat. And I remember hearing it on the radio, like on the school bus, and for days did not know what the song was. I was too afraid to ask anybody. And like, there was no way to know. There wasn't a Shazam or anything like that. Absolutely. Didn't know until it played again and somebody was like, and you just heard.
Yeah,
and I was like, when I finally heard it, I was like, yes, now I can go get that. Like, which was kind of an exciting way.
I was a generation where you had like the Sunday charts on radio.
Yeah.
And you had your blank cassette in there and literally you had pause and play ready. And you just literally, the minute it said, and at number 46, we have ABBA with Tiger. Or, oh my God.
I'm a huge ABBA fan too, by the way.
Oh, mate.
But yeah, I mean, and you would hope that, like my dad told me about this because he did the same thing, I'm pretty sure, with like cassettes and just like, you know, trying to get the track. And he would say, like, you got really mad when the DJ would start to step on the track. And you're like, please just give me a clean track. Like, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you still had to wait another 6 months for that album to be released.
Yeah.
And you didn't want anything else. Like, nothing else mattered. It's just, oh my God, I just want that. But anyway, let's go back to your varied view. So you obviously come from a very musical, loving family. Were any of your family into music in a bigger way? Were any of them musicians or artists or...
Yeah, my dad actually was. So he really wanted to be a rock star, and made the requisite bad decisions that rock stars make, but without the success of the rock star of actually making it. Yeah. So that didn't really go anywhere. But I think that I had that kind of in me from a young age of seeing him want to go for that and to be musical, and then later on he went into music promotion and like management and things like that. And so when we were still speaking, which we aren't right now, but when we were still speaking, you know, growing up, I would actually see him in the studio with some of the artists that he was managing and like almost acting in a producer role, although they definitely didn't call it that at the time. Yeah. And I definitely look back on that now and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of do the same thing now. That's kind of interesting. And my mom is like, she never did it professionally, but if she didn't do what she does professionally, she would be a singer. I think she's the most talented singer I know. And like, I'm not even just saying that. I truly don't. I've met a handful of artists of mine that are incredible singers, and they come close, but no one's a better singer than my mom. It's wild.
Sweet. Has your mum done any of your tracks?
No.
Oh, you got to sort that shit out.
I should be like, Mom, you need to learn this song.
Just say, I just need a guide vocal, Mum, and you know, it's so in your range. Could you do it?
Yeah.
That would be super cool, though.
It would be cool. I think maybe we should do like a duet or something. That would be kind of fun. I actually just produced a duet for somebody else and their mom.
Oh, really?
Her mom always wanted to be a singer, but just didn't do that in her life. And the artist has a Spotify, and she was like, I want to put my mom on Spotify. So they did a cover of a Joni Mitchell song. And
sweet. Really okay, this is your 2000. When we talk about your future plans, that's going to be one of them now.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
That would be wonderful. So you come from so you couldn't really have escaped music if you wanted to, because it was kind of all around you, really. When did it get to the stage where you were kind of like, you know, dancing around to Britney, and then you kind of thought, well, actually, I want to take this like to the next stage. Like, this is really part of me. What was that transition, that kind of, you know?
Yeah, so I think there were kind of two moments. I think the initial moment was around like middle school, when I first experienced my first DAW, my first, you know, music making software, and realized that I could start to record my own music. And that was through my dad. Like, he was starting to, you know, try to make his own tracks. And it was called Mixcraft. Like, I think they might even still be around, but it is so old. Like, it's like Pro Tools and Mixcraft were like the only things.
Okay. Wow. I remember.
And it was free, I'm pretty sure, or at least had a free version. And so I was learning on that as like a kind of like a middle schooler, and first starting to put together songs and like thinking like, okay, like this is really fun and I really love to do this, but I don't think I had a lot to say, you know, like I had experienced things and everything, but I didn't have a message, and I didn't have, you know, I'd write the music, but the lyrics didn't mean anything.
Right.
And so I never kind of got that gap between like, okay, how do I actually say something that means something to me? And I think it's because I just had a lot of blocks in my own personal life of like who I was, and just was not living authentic to myself. And so I think it was really hard to present myself in any way musically. And so it wasn't until I was like mid-20s, and I transitioned, and I suddenly had things to say because I experienced a lot of, can I swear on here? Shit. I experienced a lot of shit. You know, between like I was engaged at the time, and that ended. I was, you know, I lost most of my family. My mom and my stepdad are very supportive, but like most of my family I lost. And like the idea of going from like, okay, well, I was going to get married, but now I'm out there and dating, and like dealing with that for the first time. And so there was just so much happening, and I was consuming so much music at this time to help me get through that finally it came to a point where I was like, I feel like I want to be making this and making other people feel the same way that these artists have been making me feel. You know, they made me feel confident. They made me feel attractive. They made me feel feminine. They made me feel just everything good and powerful. And I really just wanted to do that for somebody else, I think.
That's more than 99.999% of the music industry, which it should be all about, the whole process. For me, the whole process about music is it's medicine. Not the fact it's medicine music, but it touches everybody. I sung last night. I've got a residency in a hotel like 3 nights a week, and I sung last night. And this woman had come up and is
it like opera? Sorry to interrupt. But is it like,
do you know what? It's kind of It used to be when I first came to Mexico, I came with 30 classical tracks.
Yeah.
Now I've got over 700 songs that I sing.
Wow.
Now literally everything from Beatles to Dua Lipa, mariachi to ABBA, Pavarotti to, I don't know, Celine Dion, Michael. I mean, I literally.
Oh, that's so cool.
I think I was writing down how many artists I cover in, and I think I'd got to over 180, 190 different artists.
That is a repertoire.
Within my repertoire, yeah. And like I said, you can go anywhere in Mexico, but you'll never find this short, fat, tattooed British boy singing Tina Turner and Pavarotti in the same show. It's never going to happen, kids. And the thing is now, I think COVID, I don't know what COVID was like for you, but I think COVID.
Terrifying.
Well, yeah, it was a bloody hard work. But what it did was it broke down the barriers of music for me.
Yeah.
Because you realise the fragility of who we are as artists and how we can lose everything in literally one newsflash, because we are just fucking sheep. We just follow everything we hear.
Yeah.
And so I didn't need, if I wanted to sing Whitney Houston, because I love singing Whitney, oh my God, and I'll do it all right. I sound like Jaden, because I'm never going to sound like a black girl, do you know what I mean? But but I'd obviously sing Whitney different than I sing Pavarotti. But it was the fact that I love music and I love all these tunes that inspire me. So I'm going to sing it whether someone says I can't or I can. It's just, I'm doing Jaden musically now, and I just think it's been really nice to be able to have a varied set where I sing lots of stuff in Spanish now, and I'm actually now learning stuff in German and French.
Oh, that's really cool.
So I'm my dream, I was talking to one of the guys at work at the hotel and just said, my next album is going to be called like, I don't know, like Sobre el Mundo, like around the world or something. I want 15 tracks, and every track is going to be in a different language. From
that would be so cool.
Punjabi to, I sing in Tagalog, I sing in Japanese, I sing in Italian, Spanish, English.
Would they all be covers or would they be originals?
It don't matter. If I could get originals, blinding.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm cool doing covers. I think the COVID thing has got me through the stage where I don't feel I need to be taken as a credible artist, because I know Jaden is a credible human. And what I do is still done with love and passion. And it's done, like I can spend, I'm happy. I love doing original stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like if there was an opportunity to do an original song tomorrow, I'm over that shit because I love it. I love it. But it's also amazing. I sing 600, 700, 800 different songs in a week.
Yeah.
So I do 3 hours sets.
Any of those.
And I love every song I sing. Right, I wouldn't sing something I didn't like. So I'm like, oh my God, there's so much magic out there. And like we just said in our previous conversation, that you don't hear anymore.
Yeah.
You don't hear the Thompson twins from England, or you don't hear, this particular group that was out in the 80s, and they had a fucking blinding track back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna revisit it and let all you 100 people that are listening to me hear that as well. So and I think COVID has done that. I think it's opened up our ability to be less pigeonholed within our art, I think.
Yeah, for sure. You even see, like, even the people who are in pop, so to speak, are even more genre expansive, I think, these days than maybe they once were. I think so often you pick a genre and then you would stick with it. And now it's like people are so open to experiment with all kinds of genres and all kinds of sounds and origins. And I think that's really cool. It's kind of that breakdown of genre in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember like back in the 90s, God forbid if you put one instrument in that track that shouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
The record, like I was with Logic BMG at the time, and they were like, no one's going to get it. No one is going to get it. But they get it now. They had the saxophone or harmonica in it, and it's still a good pop track. But no one will get it. You're going to lose everything. We'll drop you as an artist. You can't. The most you can have is a vocoder and a saxophone in pop. That's it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
String like country guitar sound. You don't have rock. Look at Evanescence. I was just the very first time I heard Evanescence and Amy. Is it Amy Lee? Her name is, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard this kind of pop intro, and then it went into metal with this operatic classical voice. I was like,
right?
That's what I should be.
I know. Isn't it so amazing when you find those artists that are doing something so different that you've never heard of this certain blend before, and you're just like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, why didn't anybody think to do that until now? Like
Absolutely.
that's honestly how I felt, and maybe you'll laugh at this, but this is how I felt like when I heard Billie Eilish's first album for the first time, where I'm like, okay, so you can do like soft whisper vocals with like super aggressive beats and like weird lyrics where you're talking about not just being cute, but you're like a murderer. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and it was like, wow, this really like scratches an itch I did not know I had.
Minding. So when you first started writing and producing, was you going like literally straight into Brittany pop? Was that how you started?
I think so. Are you talking more about like when I was little in middle school and kind of putting tracks together, or are you talking more about
I'm
like,
kind of thinking like when you first kind of thought, you know what, I'm gonna just start writing and recording, and almost like forming your sound.
yeah, yeah. I think, I initially went like a very electronic route. I think I was really inspired at the time of making my first couple of songs by there's a really like nobody. I've yet to meet somebody who knows this artist, but they're called Holy Child. It's all caps, one word. And they were a duo. It was like an electronic duo, and like it was just really cool, like sweet vocals paired with electronics with like a marching drum beat, which is like so out there. And then like all of the lyrics would be kind of sarcastically satire about like the feminine experience and like the pressure society puts on you. So I was feeling really inspired by that at the time. So I think my first original sound, I really was like, I think we all look, whether we're trying consciously or not, we're all just taking our influences and kind of recreating them in a way. And so I think those were my original kind of reference material. I was like, yeah, if I can make music like Holy Child, like that would be really cool. And like now I don't make music that's like Holy Child. There's some other artists that I compare myself to, but it's funny that like in the beginning, no, wasn't my initial. And I would say I definitely sound more like, I've been compared to Britney more now with my sound than I was.
He was back in the day.
Like people have said that with Laced a lot. Like, oh, it's like Toxic, but modern. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome because Toxic was one of the first. Like,
that's amazing. Like, when did you realize? I mean, did Sanzi realize that Sanzi had a style and a sound, or are you still in this? Could you? I don't know, put out like a heavy rock emo kind of track tomorrow and that will still be Sanzi? I mean, do you see Sanzi as this particular vibe, or is it quite open to her?
Yeah, so I think I see Sanzi as above all else just confident. Confident and generally trending dark. And so I think anything within those bounds is kind of open game for me. I mean, I've done a couple of tracks that could be considered like metal or rock at least. And then I've done tracks that are, I guess maybe not a lot slower, but most of my stuff tends to be upbeat. But yeah, I think that it's really just about the confidence. I don't tend to write from a perspective of like, I'm hurting and I am just going to live in my sadness. It's always with kind of an attitude of defiance, which don't get me wrong. Like I love those songs. Like I F with some Lana Del Rey, like, Billie's last album was like that. Like, I love sad music. But when I'm writing for myself, I just wanted to make people feel defiant and feel like
strong.
Whatever I'm going through, I can get through this.
Yeah. Amazing. So you've gone through starting to write and produce your own stuff.
Yeah.
When you first got asked to write and produce for somebody else, was that a nerve-wracking experience, or is that something that was just like, yeah, this is cool?
It honestly was both. It was really exciting because it was really what I wanted. I think from the beginning, I kind of looked at myself more as a producer than an artist. And I think that became apparent within the first 6 months of learning how to produce, that I just loved it so much and loved that process, that I was like, if I don't go out and tour the world, that would be okay. I mean, I would like to do that, but if I don't get to produce, I would be upset. That's that's kind of the perspective I come up. So what I was learning was like, people were saying, if you want to get better at producing, produce for other people, because then you have more of a, like, you have to do a specific thing. And it was really great advice. So that's kind of how I started. I just started asking the people that I was working with, like my voice coach and things like that, like, hey, if you have artists who want to be produced by somebody who's not going to treat them like an idiot, somebody who is also still learning, somebody who is going to value their opinion and treat them like the artists that they are, because there's just so many horror stories of bad producers, like controlling the process and completely changing an artist's sound and just making them feel stupid. And I didn't want that. And so I think it was mostly exciting, but I also just wanted to really rise to the occasion and make something good for them.
I think it's amazing because like when you're writing and producing for yourself, you're like, well, I like it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I guess when you're presenting something, like, oh my God, I hope they like it. I hope they like it. You kind of open yourself up to that whole.
On one hand, yes. On the other hand, I think when it is myself, all of the responsibility is on me. And so I think like, I'm making this and I hope other people like it. And it's hard to know where the like line is of like, okay, it's finished. When I'm working with another artist, I can at least be like, okay, I think this is really good, but I at least have another person who's also going to say, yes, this is good.
Right,
There's a little less pressure.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, I didn't think of it that way, actually, yeah, absolutely. So what's happening for Sansi at the moment?
So at the moment, I just released a song for Halloween. Since I kind of live in the dark pop sort of genre, Halloween is a big time of year for us. There's like, there's only one Mariah Carey of Christmas, but there's like.
So you want to be the Sansi of Halloween eventually?
Exactly. Like that's what I would love to be. I have no problems with being Oingo Boingo and being a Halloween act. Not really. I mean, I want to have songs that go the rest of the year too.
Obviously,
but
yeah, you're not.
Halloween is so fun. Yeah, Halloween is so fun, and so I just released a new like kind of sexy dance Halloween song. And so I'm really excited about that. And I have another song called Crawl that's kind of like a protest song that's coming out. And then that's kind of my first run of singles. I'm going to have like a couple of months of break to work on some stuff for other people, and then also just get to writing and producing for myself again. And then hopefully in December and January, coming back with another single after that, a protest one.
Good Halloween one, just because you've got 10 months to get it into there.
Yes.
I'll get that. I'm a Halloween boy all the way through. Cut me in half and it says October in the middle, so
yes,
I'm all about that. That's bloody.
Do you have your costume yet?
Well, I mean, I'm the only white boy in my village, so I'm already kind of wearing it on a day-to-day basis. I feel, like this is quite you kind of driving through. I live in a tiny little community in tiny little villages, which is really kind of so rural and so agricultural.
You turn a few heads, I'm sure.
70-year-old ladies are walking up hills like that with like bags of logs on their back, and then bands around here with like another basket, and I'm just like,
oh my gosh.
Oh, you only see this on like National Geographic, like, and I'm living at the moment. So already they do look at me as if to say, "What are you?" I think if I wasn't so pierced and tattooed, I might get a little bit better looks. But the fact that and I really do mean, I even asked the barber. I said, are there any more whiteys in this area? Because they call them güeros. I said, hay más güeros aquí. And he went, no, amigo, you're the only one I've ever seen here.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, so I don't need a Halloween costume.
You don't need a Halloween costume?
Well, I do have I've got a dog here with only 2 legs.
You could really play it up, You could like wear glasses and a pocket protector. I don't know. Like go with this white and nerdy, your Weird Al Yankovic costume.
I could do that, and there's a possibility I might do that as well, actually. I might go for the whole Katrina Day of the Dead face.
Yes, love it.
I've got a dog. I've got loads of dogs, actually. I've got 13 dogs. But I've got one of my dogs is my beautiful boy. His name's Foxy Face. He's only got 2 legs.
Oh.
And I got him a Chucky outfit. So he's got 2 little ones with a dagger. So he looks really cool. So he's going to probably wear
That's so
Halloween.
cute.
Yeah, so, I'm getting to that age where pass it down to the kids.
Yeah, yep.
My little two-legged son is gonna dress up for Halloween this year. No, definitely. I'm a definitely Halloween boy. So
you're gonna have a hard time getting 17 dogs to trick or treat, I think.
that won't be the hard thing. Is getting them to fucking share the sweets afterwards is going to be the hard.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So sometimes I just think there's no point. It's going to create arguments and problems between the ranks. So there's no point.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and probably celebrate Day of the Dead in the city and hang around graveyards for 2 days.
That sounds really cool.
Full of candles and incense and marigolds. It's actually stunningly beautiful. So I'm not really where I lived in before. I was living in Quintana Roo in Mexico. There was nothing really there. Whereas where I'm staying at the moment, it's one of the oldest towns in the whole of Mexico. So I reckon Day of the Dead's going to be pretty.
A lot of history and
pretty cool. And it's like thick fog and. Like it's beautiful. I had nothing. I remember sitting on Christmas Day just sweating like a pig in Cancun. I hated it. Whereas here we get this kind of a bit more of the season, so it's going to be chilly, maybe drizzly.
It doesn't snow, right?
No.
Okay, that's good.
A little bit. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind a week of snow.
Yeah.
Go back to 20 something degrees, which is a possibility here. But
yeah.
I was googling today. Have there ever been snow here? And there hasn't. There's been frost, but never snow. So I'm looking forward to getting that whole Halloweeny thick fog over the candles and all the orange.
Oh, that'll be so cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some.
You'll have to take pictures. Yeah.
I'll show you. So future, I'm gonna talk about not just Halloween.
Yeah.
Because Sansi's not just a Halloween artist. Sansi is ongoing and international. So what does the future hold for you? What are your plans?
So I think the future holds more singles, possibly an album on the horizon, producing for other people and helping to lift up other artists through their craft, and just hopefully just continuing to evolve the sound and helping others to feel confident and dance and just feel good about themselves.
That sounds perfect. I also think, and I'm kind of channeling this as we speak, that you had that kind of, you love the whole Max Martin group and all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
I kind of feel that maybe in the future is a Sansi Jaden Cornelious collaboration, because I've recorded Max Martin. So we're kind of crossing over those two things, right? I
would absolutely love that.
Get on, sister.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, kids at home. 2025 is a Sansi JC single coming out.
Yes.
So make that shit as Britney and as dark as you want. I'm all over it. There's no.
I love it. Oh, that'll be great. That'll be awesome.
So basically, worldwide domination. That's what you're saying.
Yes. Yep. Taking over the whole world.
Through your dark pop enterprise.
Yeah. And I think I'm planning on doing some merch drops and things like that. So I think that'll be fun. I've just been asking people what they want. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, especially when your album or EP comes out, we do need to check in and do another show, because we need to talk about it and play some more of the tracks from the album. That would be wonderful. Where can people find you? Because now everyone's like, oh my God, I'm going to follow Sansi now. Where can I find her? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm most active on Instagram and TikTok. And then if anybody wants to listen, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all of
major download streaming.
Someone asked about Amazon. It's on Amazon. It's everywhere.
Sweet. Absolutely wonderful. Well, I would like to thank you so much for agreeing to be part of my show. It's been wonderful not only to meet you, but to chat to you and spend time with you today.
I'm excited for the collab.
I really am, and I'm really deadly serious. Have a think, and we'll talk after the show as well. But yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, let's plan something. That'd be really, really cool for next year. Kids at home, you've met Sansi. You now want to follow her. So before you finish your packet of chips and your Coca-Cola, make sure you go and find her on her social media platforms, and also her music on all of her download and streaming platforms as well. I know you won't be disappointed. Sansi knows you won't be disappointed. So you won't be disappointed. Go and do that before you finish your evening. You can start Monday with a bit of Sansi in your playlist. How cool is that? That's the way to go forward, quite frankly. Thank you so much, my darling. I really appreciate your time, and we are in contact, and we'll catch up soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
See you later, hun. Take care, you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How bloody amazing is she? So I suggest you get onto her social media platforms as quick as you possibly can and show that lady some love and support. Great music, great person. I wish her all the love and success and world domination. That's what I wish her. And I'm very excited about our duet next year. That's going to be super, super cool. Now, before I go, I just want to let you know that you can be on one of my shows. If you have added paranormal or supernatural experiences, you could be on the J-Files. If you live in a country other than the one you were born in and you want to tell us about your experience, you can be on that one. If you have an idea or something's bugging you or you want an answer to something like a agony on gossip column soapboxy thing, then send that to me. You can be on that one, and my wonderful viewers will help you with your decisions in their comments. And also, that one's called Air It, by the way. And also, if you have a wonderful life story that you want to share with other people because you think it will help other people just to hear what you've been through and what you've done in your life, then it's called My Life, My Story. You can be on that one. Get in touch with me. Get in touch with me on my social media platforms, and we can chat about getting you on my show. Now, I'm not going to leave you without any more music. Oh, no, sirree, Bob. I'm not. We are going to watch Terrified in a minute by the amazing Sanzi. And I'm already looking forward to seeing you again next week on the wonderful Jaden Show. Please have a wonderful week. Stay productive, stay positive, stay perfectly beautiful. And I will see you next Sunday on the Jaden Show. Take care. Goodbye.
Be your nightmare or your dream. Turn off all the lights and make you scream. My shadow shade the spaces in between the grays of our morality. I hear you knock, knock, knock on my door. This candy is too sweet to ignore. If you could see what was hiding underneath the mask, you meet the monster inside me, leave me in the past. Then come and taste my bite, my deadly kiss goodnight. I know I could turn you on and leave you terrified. I'll leave you terrified. Then come and taste my bite, my deadly kiss goodnight. I know I could turn you on and leave you terrified. The doctors say to double my meds. The fathers say I'm self-possessed. Maybe I like being a mess, knowing how it makes you obsess. I hear you knock, knock, knock on my door. This candy is too sweet to ignore. If you could see what was hiding underneath the mask, you'd meet the monster inside me, leave me in the past. Then come and taste my bite, my deadly kiss goodnight. I know I could turn you on and leave you terrified. Baby, I'm batty, I'm over dramatic. My love is like magic that you can't resist. Making like rabbits, I got a bad habit of making it tragic and you won't be missed. Baby, I'm batty, I'm over dramatic. My love is like magic that you can't resist. Making like rabbits, I got a bad habit of making it tragic. You know this is it. If you could see what was hiding